Hello, you are tuning into Uneducated Guests with Josiah. I'm your host, Josiah. I'm a senior in high school that has to do a project for a college class, but I didn't feel like looking anything up, so here I am. Today's topic is cannibalism, gluten, and GMOs. I know those sound so well paired together, don't they? Well, cannibalism's always been a hot topic for, everyone, because it's cannibalism. It's generally deemed a taboo subject if you're talking about it in all seriousness. But I feel as if cannibalism would solve a lot of the world's problems. Like, if you would be able to kill off a few people, and then you'd also be able to sustain people that are starving. So, like, you could have people battle to the death, you know? Like, if they're homeless or something, battle to death, and whoever wins eats the other one. It's simple as that. I mean, it's kind of messed up, but it makes sense because you get to feed people, and you get to kill off more people, so it stops overpopulation and world hunger, as long as you kill enough people and eat enough people. The only problem is you'd have to cook the meat very well because you're eating like the human brain and like eating basically if one species eats the same species meat, they are more likely to get mad cow disease, prion disease or something like that. I want to say is the actual name for it. But that makes you literally go insane. Like, if you eat tainted beef, like from quote-unquote mad cow disease, when it's in cows, you can lose your mind. But you're a lot more susceptible to it if you eat it of your own species. Like, I think mad cow disease started from, like, sheep or human stuff got into, like, cow feed, and they lost their mind or something. Because I don't remember exactly, but I'm pretty sure that's how it started. I obviously haven't done research yet, but I think that's how it went. So you'd have to look out for, like, making sure the meat's very well done. That's kind of gross because, you know, who wants well done meat? Then it's all chewy and hard. Like, medium rare is actually, that's the perfect way to cook a steak. It's got that little bit of blood. It's nice and soft and delicious. Oh, I'm so hungry right now. But as long as you cook it well done, it should not necessarily eliminate, but it should greatly reduce the chances of you getting prion disease, which would be that would obviously be very good to not get it. But I feel like that's, the only actual problem with cannibalism would be prion disease. Because, as long as it's not, like, Hunger Games style selection where you can have rebels, as long as everyone's just like, yeah, let's kill some people and eat food, and it's, like, an okay thing in society, I feel like it would be a lot better and a lot easier to control and that kind of stuff. Like, if you decide, like a type of people to eat, like, not, like, race or anything, but, like, oh, they're elderly, but then they also wouldn't have the best meat. It would be, like, their meat wouldn't be very potent, I think. Why did I use the word potent? Also, by potency, that reminded me of proteins, which proteins, your body, eating human meat, it lets you, metabolize proteins a lot easier and has your body do a lot less work. So it's easier on your body to eat, your own species of meat. Like me, I wouldn't be up for cannibalism. I'm too skinny. No one's gonna want to try to pick off the small, vast amounts of meat I've got on me. My innards would probably be pretty good. Fry up my intestines or like brain. Ooh, chicken livers are really good. Are human livers good? Like if they're not alcoholics. Or wait, if they're alcoholics, because it would be more fatty. Or no, it would be scar tissue. Huh. I don't know. I wonder if human meat would taste good if they were alcoholics or not. That's besides the point. Oh yeah, on this topic of cannibalism, one of the best known cannibalists, Jeffrey Dahmer. he ate a lot of flesh, like that Shaquille O'Neal meme. He put a fruit sticker, so if a cannibalism came after me, he'd have to take off the sticker first, giving him a chance to get away. But Jeffrey Dahmer said that people with like the tattoos ruined the flavor of the meat, which I'm not saying it does, but I'd trust known cannibalism over a person that's never tried human meat, honestly. So maybe tattoos do make the meat taste gross. In that case, get tatted up. You won't be cannibalized. That's also with different like skin colors, like different like nationalities of people taste different. Like in Futurama, one of my favorite shows, the robot was gonna eat Hermes, which is like their Jamaican. What is he really? He's a bureaucrat, but like, is he a secretary? No, because he does a lot more than that. Let's just say he's a secretary, because I can't remember right now. But this evil serial killer robot was gonna eat his skin, but since he always eats like super spicy jerk chicken, it just melted through the robot. So like, would different like nationalities of people have different flavor in the way their meats are? Like, or would that also have to do with like what you eat, like how you eat, how much of it you eat, and like your body weight and size? And what about gender? Does like male and female meats taste different? Gosh, I really feel like we should do a study on this. Like, this is kind of interesting. It's kind of messed up, but like, I don't think dead bodies are doing anything. Could you eat a dead body and that be illegal? I mean, is cannibalism legal? I do not know. I'll find that out later. But, no, cannibalism is not legal. I remember that. Oh, that was messed up. I learned about that. What I didn't learn about it is dark web videos I listened to, because I like horror videos and gore. And apparently cannibalism's illegal even if it's consented to, which consented cannibalism is like basically what I'm talking about, is like people let you eat them like when they're dead or something, and so their body doesn't go to waste. And I think that's kind of odd. It's kind of interesting, kind of cool. I would eat some bodies if I wanted, if I could, wait, no, that's not right. If I had to, is that the right word? That's probably the right word. But on to gluten. Gluten, I honestly have no idea what it is, except it's in like bread. So that's why I put it on here, because my friend tackled me, because I was like, I'm gonna research gluten. And they're like, no, you're not, because you can do it on a podcast. And I thought that was pretty funny, because I've barely done that many podcasts. But they're like, nope, you're not researching it, because it would be funny to have you rant on it. But I don't get how you can have non-gluten you get non-gluten flour to make non-gluten goods, but it tastes bad or something. I'm not sure. I've never had non-gluten things, but I feel like I would not like it, because I had cream cheese chocolate chip cookies the other day, and they caught me off guard. They were not good. I expected oh, it's probably just a normal chocolate chip cookie. It's just a little creamier, a little softer. No, that flavor was whack. And it caught me very off guard. My friend Antoine, he liked them though. He enjoyed the cream cheese cookies very much. I did not. I did not think they were very good. But that's just my taste. I don't like cream cheese in general though, so I don't know why I was thinking I would probably like that. I mean, free food's free food, man, because you gotta make sure everyone eats. Everyone. Because that's, brotherly love. And you don't want your homies to start starving out here. Oh yeah, gluten. So I'm not exactly sure, except that it's in breads, and like gluten's probably in pasta, because pasta's bread, right? No, pasta's, I was gonna say a legume, but that's like a peanut. Pasta is not a legume. Pasta is pasta. Pasta is not ravioli. Ravioli is a type of pasta. It's a wheat product, and wheat, I think, has like gluten. Like, that's one of the things. In South Park, if you ate gluten, your genitalia would shoot off like a rocket ship, and I thought that was pretty amusing. Thought that was quite funny. It's such an odd term for me, but yeah, I just thought it was an amusing episode where they were locked in a pizza Papa John's. Was it a Papa John's? Yeah, it was a Papa John's. They were locked in a Papa John's, and they were eating all the toppings, and all that was left was the pizza dough. And then one of them started eating it, and he was like, "I feel fine." Then he died. That was a pretty weird episode. I mean, a lot of South Park's weird, but that's why I like them. They're just out of the box. I haven't watched much lately, though. I think I stopped on season 13 because I think their website stopped being free, and that's why. Their website is a really good South Park something. It was ran by Comedy Central, but now it's not free anymore. It was free to everyone, and you can just watch all their episodes, and I thought that was pretty great. I used to watch them in like 6th or 7th grade. No, definitely not 7th grade. 5th or 6th grade when I used to play WoW. I know I started young because that's what my stepdad did. I enjoyed WoW a lot. It was a pretty good game. I never got good at it. I'm still not good at video games. But, I try. And that's all people can ask for is you try your best at things. But, yeah, I'm not going to try gluten because I don't trust it. Same reason I don't trust geese. They're evil and demonic. And they probably taste bad. But, yeah. So GMOs are like genetically modified organisms. Now, I learned this the other day because I read an article on it. Well, I originally thought GMOs were like the thing that made Chinese food taste good, like salty and delicious with like low calories and stuff, and that's what people were blaming the people got sick by, but it's not. I mean, oh, that's not GMOs, that's MSG. MSG is what tastes good. Oh, that makes a lot more sense than GMOs. I was right. Yeah, MSG is what I was thinking of. I got MSG and GMOs mixed up. I wanted to talk about MSG, not GMOs. Well, I'm already talking about GMOs. They're like basically people genetically modify like plants and like animals to have like better like yield and food and stuff. I'm not gonna have to look this up because this is actually what GMOs are, and they basically can. They've got some things that are bad, like from the plants. The genes can like go into animals and like humans and other plants, and like basically genetically modify them in ways that aren't good or healthy. Like I think in one case there was like super weeds because farmers used corn genes that made them resistant to herbicides or something like that. Pesticides? No, it was herbicides. And so then the super weeds became that way because they were weeds and they got immune to pesticide. And so they just kept growing and getting stronger, which led to an increase in pesticide use, even though that was like the opposite of herbicide use, even though it gave a decrease in pesticide use or something. But yeah, GMOs are kind of odd. It makes pretty good chicken though, I think. I would eat some GMO meats. I feel like that's fine. Like, I'm not against genetically altering things. Like, I think that's, like, pretty cool. Like, I forgot what they were doing. I read something. I can't remember what it was now. Oh, the movie Sorry to Bother You was a very good movie. The twist ending. Oh, this is going to be a spoiler if you want to cut to about 15 minutes in. Well, basically, they genetically modified humans and, like, half-bred them with horses. And so they would have, like, stronger work labor, and it was really odd, and it was weird turn for the movie because it starts off like he's just a talk show, or not talk show, he's a telemarketer, and then all of a sudden he becomes a telemarketer for the black market basically, and then turns into a horse guy because he was drugged. I saw that part coming, him turning into a horse guy after he did the Peruvian cocaine. But it happened at the very end of the movie after all the protests and everything, and I'm like, yeah, I just saw that part coming. But I did not see the 360 whenever it was just him turning into a horse. It was just wild. And right before that scene, it's just so it starts him talking. He's like, oh yeah, the main party dude wants you back there. He turns, just starts walking through the hallway, just hard sex, and I'm just like, this is uncomfortable and just random. But then, yeah, that all happens, and it's just a pretty good movie. But I feel like genetically altering things is going to end up coming to that, and you'll be able to, like, genetically alter a lot of things and do, like, a lot more with our food sources and help, like, eliminate hunger and that. Much like cannibalism, except this is more legal, except they can make monopolies off of it because they will monopolize the seed industry of like genetically modified seeds, because they were making farmers sign contracts into it, and basically they all a lot of farmers took their lives because they were in such massive debt over the genetically modified seeds, which is really kind of messed up. What was my other topic? Oh yeah, gluten. I've already talked about this. I still have no idea what it is besides something in bread. I want to say it's like it's in the flour, which is what wheat's made out of. So they make non-wheat like GMOs, or not GMOs, non-wheat gluten, non-gluten wheat, because that's how it would be pronounced, I'm pretty sure, because that's the only way I would conceive them being able to do that in that sense, would be basically genetically modifying the wheat to not have gluten or something like that. Like beer also has gluten because it has wheat in it. So maybe they just make wheat or like flour out of non-wheat products, because that would also make sense, instead of just genetically modifying wheat. I mean, we could, because we're America and we can do whatever we want and like just poison our people like we've been doing for years. But I feel like they can find alternative sources. Like we're trying to find alternative power sources or something. Like a lot of people are hating on the coal industry and want to put solar panels up and stuff. I'm all for that. I mean, I think our environment's doomed anyway, but that's just my statement. So I think we should just live fun, live fast, and burn the environment down, because it's going down anyway. We can't stop that, and I feel like there's going to be a large mass extinction within the next few hundred years that's going to wipe out most humans on the face of the earth anyway, because there's always it's going to be like a next ice age or something like that at this point, especially if the Yellowstone supervolcano goes off, because it would cover us in about 90,000 cubic miles of ash blanket, basically, which would destroy a lot of plant life. It would basically turn us into another ice age, because with how temperatures are going down and down by the polar vortex starts crumbling, as it already has been, then basically our entire thing would be just blacked out from the sun, and a lot of people would die, and it would just freeze a lot of the things up. So then, I mean, I guess we wouldn't have to worry about GMOs and gluten, because there would be no plants. So then we would technically be forced to go to cannibalism. Oh no, wait, would a GMO be considered a human on steroids? Because it's a genetically modified organism. It's human. Humans are organisms. Oh no, are crippled people GMOs? Like if they've got like their little robot legs, like in my last podcast, or no, not my last podcast. What am I thinking? My episode 2, genetic enhancements. Cybernetic enhancements. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Because that would make sense. Because they're genetically modified organisms. Well, no, it's not genetic. I don't know. I'm not sure about genetics, except that in Fallout 4, super mutants are genetically modified, and they're looking for like a vaccine or something. It's kind of odd. So those would be genetically modified organisms, because they're genetically modified by the radiation and stuff like that. I feel like gluten is just good. I don't know. I'm kind of hungry for some Cheez-Its right now. I feel like those have gluten. I know beer has gluten because it's a wheat product. I feel like a lot of snacks I eat have gluten. But maybe not all GMOs. Who knows? I really want some cheese right now. Some grape juice. That sounds really good. I'm sorry, I haven't had breakfast yet, but yeah. So I'm gonna go get some GMOs in me, probably some gluten. No human meat yet. I mean, I'm not gonna be a cannibal just yet, even though I'm very hungry. So I'll see you guys in a bit, because, well, I've got to research. Elevator music, go. Okay, I'm back after doing some research, and the disease I talked about, Prion's disease, is actually called Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. Probably not pronouncing that. It looks like something that's German. but it's caused by the prions, which is a buildup of a certain protein in the brain. The practice of cannibalism in one Papua New Guinea tribe led to the spread of the fatal brain disease called Kuru that caused a devastating epidemic in the group. So basically, the disease killed some indigenous tribe because they practiced cannibalism, obviously, and went mad. But researchers have discovered some of the people who survived the Kuru epidemic carry a genetic mutation called V127, whereas those who developed Kuru did not have this mutation. Well, that's obviously. So basically, V127 is like a genetic mutation. So it's basically like the people that survived adapted and are able to eat meat. So basically, if you have the V127 genetic mutation, you're basically more immune than others to getting prion disease, so you'd most likely not go mad if you did cannibalism. So researchers genetically engineered mice to have the V127 mutation and then injected the animals with infectious prions. Results showed that mice with one copy of the 127V mutation were resistant to Kuru, as well as a similar disease called classic Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. Mice with two copies of V127 were resistant to those diseases, as well as another prion disease called variant, it's the same Jacob disease, which is sometimes referred to as the human form of mad cow disease. So basically, if we inject ourselves with V127, like 3 copies of it or 2 copies or something like that, we will basically be immune to the human form of mad cow disease and all the other prion diseases. So we would then be able to eat human meat. And so if you're able to eat human meat, I feel like it would still solve the world hunger problems and the overpopulation problems we're now facing, especially if you infect people with the V12-7 mutation, because then those people, no matter what, would be able to, well, eat other people without the fear of contaminating themselves and dying from the prion disease. A substance. Oh, and also this is about gluten now. I'm going from the prion disease to gluten. I know, right? They're both terrible. A substance present in cereal grains, especially wheat, that is responsible for the elastic texture of dough, a mixture of 2 proteins. It causes illness in people with celiac disease. That's basically what gluten is. So it's only bad for people with that celiac disease, which I'm not sure what that is. Besides, it's like gluten allergy, basically. They'll get like the runs or something from it, I think. But basically, it's just an allergic reaction to gluten. And that's why people are like, oh, gluten's so bad for you. It's not bad for anyone unless you have the celiac disease. And I just think that's kind of dumb that people are like, oh, gluten's so awful. Basically, gluten triggers an immune response that damages the lining of the small intestine that can interfere with the absorption of nutrients from food, cause a host of symptoms, and lead to other problems like osteoporosis, infertility, Jesus, that's terrible. But that's only for people with the celiac disease. So as long as you don't have that, I guess you're pretty good, and you can eat as much gluten as you want without dying. I guess. Oof. Gluten-free flour is basically made of everything but wheat, and this is my notes because I take terrible notes. But that's basically because you can make like gluten, or not, you can make wheat out of like almonds and different things like that. There's a lot of them that I can't exactly remember because I didn't write them down. But basically, it's not made by like, I was wrong on the fact that I said you would have GMO wheat that's gluten free. It's just basically made from anything but wheat. But genetically modified organism GMOs that are living organism whose genetic material has been artificially manipulated in the laboratory through genetic engineering. This creates combinations of plant, animal, bacteria, and virus genes that do not occur in nature or through traditional crossbreeding methods. So I was right. They're basically just made in a lab, and they're not necessarily terrible. They basically just make food different things, but the genes can spread, and that's another problem. But monosodium glutamate is the sodium salt of glutamic acid, one of the most abundant naturally occurring non-essential amino acids. So basically, I think it was this scientist in Japan, I forgot to look this up actually, but This scientist in Japan or China, whatever, he discovered that the GMO or the MSG, like what was making it and what that it made food so like tasty and delicious, basically, and that's why people like, oh, that's a bad MSG. I mean, that's the same with sugar though. When people discover, or no, it was sweetener. Like sweetener didn't do well at first, but then it's because people rebranded it as like low carb sweetener or something like that, that people started to buy it, because at first it's like, oh, it's unnatural and it's not good. That's the same with MSG. I feel like people blamed MSG for a lot of the problems when it didn't really do anything, because it's literally just it's a flavoring basically, and that's all it will ever be. MSG is a flavor enhancer commonly added to Chinese food, canned vegetables, soups, and processed meats. The Food and Drug Administration (FDA) has classified MSG as a food ingredient that's generally recognized as safe, but its use remains controversial. That's because a lot of people thought it was making you sick, but even the FDA is like, yeah, it's fine. It'll cause a little risk, but it's generally recognized as safe, which means it has slight risk. But our lettuce has risk too. Like our lettuce had like E. coli or something in it, and that's like life threatening, I guess. It was our romaine lettuce was like compromised or something. There's been a lot of things with E. coli in them lately. I think farmers need to start washing their hands better. But yeah, so anything can be generally recognized as safe, but everything is always gonna have its problems. So why just rip on MSG? That's what I was trying to say, not ripe. Ripe's just like when fruit's well done. Well done. Wait, is a steak ripe when it's well done? That's odd. But the sites I got this information from was livescience.com. That was on Cannabalism. CELAC.org. That was on the Gluten and Non-GMO Project.org. That was on GMOs. Where did I get MSG? I don't remember where I got MSG actually. Crap. Well, I normally have the MSG article on here, but I forgot apparently. So basically, cannibalism is feasible if you have the V127 vaccine. Or not vaccine, jeez. Wow, I'm terrible. I'm already trying to vaccinate it. Mutation, which is just a genetic mutation, which is interesting, fun stuff. Gluten's only bad if you have celiac disease, and MSG is very good. So are GMOs. So this is all for this podcast. I'll see you guys on the